two different shooters who are children, by the way, and not to mention that 15 and 16-year-old that's doing this, bro. I think everybody should be alarmed because it shows a major issue and deficit in the culture and just and the danger in that area, bro. Why we can't have the bro? I've never been to East St. Louis, and I've heard about East St. Louis. Why we act like they don't exist? Memphis, we want to run them down. Memphis, Baltimore, Philly. I think North Philly to be specific. Atlanta, Miami, Broward, motherfucking Jacksonville. Certain parts of Houston, depending on what side of town. Dallas. There's certain places that have Detroit. There's certain places that have a fucking reputation for violence. Why we act like that don't exist in the community?
This part though, Mr. Fantastic sent me and Aaron and I, a clip of what happened in East St. Louis, and I've seen a lot of shit. And it said 15 and 16-year-old. God bless the dead to Nolan Wells. But I don't know how Al and Ben ain't in East St. Louis right now. Nolan Wells' story. I got a few clips. You know, we look at different people who create these things. So my salute to my Ock Freezy. He been doing a hell of a job covering it. Sis actually sent me a timestamp to somebody doing like a tell-all. I need to hit freeze. Let me hit him. Pause. But yo, we trying to, and I'm just thinking through this out loud. Like this, like a soliloquy. Juxtaposing those two things, I don't think it's gonna end well, bro. I don't think it's gonna end well. Let me get the horns out the way. Mr. Fantastic, we show them that case first because I don't think most people may be privy to that as they are to Nolan Wells.
Probably nobody even knows it other than us unless they live in St. Louis, bro. Definitely show them the case.
All right. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, man. Let me see. All right, so let me share my screen. Oh, shit. Ugh. Cause I'm about tired of them niggas, man. Alright, this one should be good.
A targeted mass shooting. 5 family members shot and killed at different locations across East St. Louis. And tonight, 2 teens are in custody. Fox News' Cameron Mendoza speaking with Illinois State Police, city leaders, as well as neighbors who are trying to make sense of the violence.
This feels like something that would happen on the first 48, not nowhere near, right across from me.
Neighbors Kevion Johnson and Samuel McLean Jr. at Gompers Public Housing Unit were in shock.
It's a peaceful neighborhood, so when everybody get woke up and to hear that it's a female deceased, that's a lot because we're not used to it.
By the details of a quintuple homicide that happened on Sunday.
At least 7 members of the targeted family were shot at multiple locations in the East St. Louis area. And as of right now, 5 victims have been confirmed deceased.
Police tell us this happened this morning across 3 different places. 1 person died at a shooting at a home at 39th and Summit. 3 other victims were shot in a home at the Gompers Public Housing Complex. 3 people were shot at Jones Park, 1 who died. 2 others survived but have serious injuries. The victims are 49-year-old Sherry L. May, 21-year-old Quentin L. Thompson, 24-year-old Devin D. May, 25-year-old Shania W. Thompson, and 74-year-old Patricia A. May. Police arrested a 15 and 16-year-old after the shootings at Frank Holden State Park. Director for the Illinois Police, Brendan Kelly, says there's not a motive at this time as the investigation continues into how the events unfolded, but there are relations between the victims and the suspects.
It's terrible, it's evil, but it will not keep this city down. The progress we have made will not be lost as a result of this terrible, terrible acts of violence that have occurred in this community today.
We spoke with East St. Louis City Councilman Courtney Hoffman, who came to the press conference Sunday afternoon. And while police are classifying this as a mass shooting by technical circumstances.
This is not a mass shooting that you don't have to worry about going to the grocery store and someone shooting at you or anything like that. This is a one-off in a sense. So it's not something the whole community to be afraid of.
In East St. Louis, Cameron Mendoza, Fox 2 News.
What the fuck?
What's to not be more afraid of than a fucking mafia whole fucking family hit?
What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, please. What's not to be afraid of? These niggas killing grandmas, kids, women, puppies.
Yo, he shot.
And crickets.
Shot, what up, baby?
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Goody was goody.
They shot up a park. They shot up
in two different houses.
Two different houses. One in which was like the project housing, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if y'all. Well, we have a few that look like that too.
The bricks, yeah,
like
the bricks. This brick, the project's still bricks.
Yeah, they had the air conditioner in the window. What? Why would he say that? Who was the last nigga that said that?
I don't know him, but he is the post of the black community.
City Councilman Courtney something or other.
Shad.
Yo.
Rashad.
You can't hear me?
Yes, I'm just yelling.
Your mic real low. I don't know if you own your mic or you own someone
it's also me being dramatic. What the fuck? Why would he? Why would he say that?
Was it just a one-off?
Yeah, like one off. What? 7 people got shot, 5 dead in 4 different places. That's like John Wick and them niggas.
I don't know why he would say that. That at that time it wouldn't make sense to say it. I don't know why he said it.
Yo, and the qualification of a mass shooting is what? 4 more people shot in a given incident? 3 or more?
3 or more.
So that's the classification. So they were saying by definition it's a mass shooting. Yeah. So let me ask y'all a question. How do we break that down? So we understand mass shooting as like the dude who was shooting off the roof in Las Vegas, right? Columbine, Buffalo, the church, right? Are those qualified as mass shootings? Yeah. As we know it colloquially? But definitionally, 3 or more people shot, and they actually have to get hit, right?
Yes, actually hit. You don't have to die, but mass shooting is just that. Deaths don't have to occur, but shot by gunfire is 3 or more. It's about the FBI classification of it.
Okay. Let me ask you guys a question. Now, this is, I think Mr. Fantastic called it Tinfoil Tuesday. Is that intentional? To classify it in a way in which it's easy to say this community has the most mass shootings? What was the reason why the classification changed? Again, this is a tinfoil question.
I don't know if it ever changed. When did it change?
Oh, maybe it didn't change. I've just been hearing that more often, like, you know what I mean? Like in the last year or so, that mass shooting, the black community, we have the most mass shootings because of the definition.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what people started like actually saying once you really do the definition, because we only thought about, like you said, Columbine, you know, pretty much where you have a small group of people shooting the majority of people, and those that get pretty much coverage because of that. Columbine, Sandy Hook, the Vegas thing, stuff like that, right? But technically, by the definition, it's like all the gang shit that happens in these drive-by shootings or shootouts where more than 3 people are hit. Those are mass shootings as well. They just don't get talked about because they don't make national news or whatever.
I understand why the inference is made. However, if I put my tinfoil hat on, right, because when you think about a mass shooting, you think about the context. A mass shooting involves a mass group of people. So I think mass. I don't necessarily think like 4 or 5. I think mass, right? You shoot up a movie theater. You know what I mean? You have a large concentrated group of people. So the number part to me, if I'm making an inference, just looking at all the context involved in this country, to lessen the spotlight on a certain demographic, I wouldn't completely throw that idea away just because I know where I'm at. But I don't have any evidence to suggest that's what the reasoning was. But if I was to make a tinfoil assumption, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The criteria is too vague to just pick a number. What it does is it allows you to arbitrarily assign the term mass shooting to whatever the event is. I think the piece that's missing is targeted. Targeted shooting or untargeted. It seems like this family was targeted because there's a deep relation between the victims, right? Whereas the people in a movie theater or getting hit from a rooftop or in a school, their relationship with one another doesn't go any further than proximity in the moment, right? Which would outline a completely different scenario. So I think that's the part that they're intentionally leaving out so that they can arbitrarily assign the term to wherever they want, as long as it meets the criteria of a certain amount of people being shot, which is something that often happens in the hood. But they're usually targeted.
Okay. And so when we look at this shooting being targeted, right, it was a family. What is the danger to the greater public in you guys' estimation?
I think that's what the councilman was leaning on. He was feigning a sense of control, and trying to reduce hysteria by virtue of the fact that it is a targeted shooting, and that as long as you're not associated with the victims, that you don't have anything to worry about. I think that's the premise he was trying to lay.
I know. Is that disingenuous?
No, but it is the thing. It is to expect the public to not be afraid. Yes, it is. So say that, yeah. I mean, technically, no, but that is inconsequential when you're dealing with the public. It is unreasonable to expect the public to not be afraid.
No, I guess what I'm asking, Aaron, is that how bullets work?
That's not how bullets
no,
work.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how well-placed bullets work, but that's not how bullets work.
Yeah, no. And we know that these aren't well-placed shooters. These aren't trained shooters
Exactly.
or snipers or so on and so on. And more likely than not, more often than not, people that aren't even targeted end up in the crossfire. I'm pretty sure the 74-year-old grandma had nothing to do with it, Aaron. I don't think she was deep in the streets, brother.
I don't know. She was the family. I don't know. And people like this can be ruthless, especially when they want to make a statement.
That's what I'm saying, though, right? Like somebody, like a 74-year-old grandma was shot. Now, they did kill Griselda when she was, 71?
Yeah, but that was Griselda.
Yeah, but that's...
Grandma might have been...
It's like killing Mustache Man.
Chill out, bro. Chill out, man.
No, bro.
Motherfucking Queen Pen, St. Louis Queen Pen. Stop it, Hamp. Stop it, bro.
Go ahead, Shaw. What you about to say?
I was just thinking specifically about the one-off conversation, the one-off part of his statement. Because you used the word disingenuous.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it in the moment, right? I don't know if he had a prepared speech or not.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying that for 5 people to be a part of a family, get killed isn't something that happens rare. That's not a rare occurrence.
No. Yes, that's rare. The threat to the public when 5 people get shot and 7 people get shot in 4 different places, and he's saying that's nothing to be afraid of. I don't even know how you get that. 2 shooters shoot 7 people in 4 different locations. That means the police is on strike.
No way the police doing their job, like you said, because I think two of the things were in proximity were close, but then they say the other one was in a park, and then like you said, for there to be those two different shooters who are children, by the way, and not to mention that 15 and 16-year-old that's doing this, bro. I think everybody should be alarmed because it shows a major issue and deficit in the culture and just and the danger in that area, bro. Why we can't have the bro? I've never been to East St. Louis, and I've heard about East St. Louis. Why we act like they don't exist? Memphis, we want to run them down. Memphis, Baltimore, Philly. I think North Philly to be specific. Atlanta, Miami, Broward, motherfucking Jacksonville. Certain parts of Houston, depending on what side of town. Dallas. There's certain places that have Detroit. There are certain places that have a fucking reputation for violence. Why we act like that don't exist in the community? And why is it a problem if we acknowledge it? Why is it a problem?
It's not.
Now go ahead, Sean. Talk your shit.
Now I just know who I'm talking to, man. So it's like when
like
culture. I wanted to because I know y'all had some other stuff. I had a great soliloquy I was gonna go on today, but I want to allow us to kind of develop a little bit before I start doing my 1-2. But at this point, I'm keen to certain words like culture. So I'm just paying attention a lot more keen than I have having conversations with certain people. So to throw culture out, for instance, even the city of Atlanta. To say the city of Atlanta has a culture of violence,
has its own culture, bro.
Right, but to then attribute, I don't know, is it attribute or contribute violence to an entire city of people? Is again it's another infraction, man. 10,000 lashes. All right, we're gonna count how many lashes there's gonna be needed.
Like I said, name a black city. I guess that most people wouldn't know about, like Tupelo, Mississippi, right? I heard of that. I think that's probably predominantly black, right? I've never heard a whole lot of violence. I never heard a whole lot of violence coming out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Never heard a whole lot of violence coming out of there. I can use Georgia, right? Georgia. Right outside of Macon, you got like Perry, right? Perry's not too far away from Macon. Perry's not known for a whole bunch of violence. Macon is. You know what I'm saying? Jones County, Twiggs County, or that would be Gray and Jeffersonville. That's not known for a whole lot of violence, but Macon is. Hell, McDonough. You know this shot. McDonough's not known for a lot of violence. Even if you go to Alpharetta. Is Alpharetta known for a lot of violence?
Yeah, so you know me, man, when you talking to me, right? Because I've worked in prevention work and I know how powerful words are. So you say things like whole lot of, it don't mean much to me. Like as a person who really get granular with information. So to say like Atlanta is known for a whole lot of violence, I don't think that'll be a factual. What does a whole lot of mean? What does that mean?
Well, in comparison to the neighboring cities and counties is what I'm saying. So that's why I gave you I gave you McDonough. I gave you Alpharetta. I can give you Marietta, right? So if you were to compare, especially like Metro Atlanta, in comparison to those other surrounding areas, they would have a increased spike in violence. You agree, correct? I even gave you my hometown, Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia, compared to Jeffersonville, Gray, Perry, Warner Robins, the violence there is going to be heightened by a lot. So what I'm saying is, when you make comparisons, which we always do, right? For the region, that place has be more known for violence. That's all I'm saying.
I got you. I mean, I just think the culture part, because like I said, I've been in Atlanta for 15 years now, and I've actually lived on all sides of the city. I don't know if I don't see the culture of violence that you're talking about, right? There are neighborhoods in Atlanta where violence happens, but to say that Atlanta has a culture of violence, I think that's a statement that's going too far. So even like East St. Louis, I don't know much about East St. Louis, right? I do understand there are areas of East St. Louis that are poverty stricken, and we know kind of what the formula is for crime in America. So just the citizens of East St. Louis, right? These pockets where there's a lot of crime, I think they will push back on the idea that the entire city produces a culture of violence.
Yeah, but I mean that would be people that are trying to, for whatever reason, deny the truth. I mean, like I said, go ahead.
Well, no. So, what's the truth in your estimation?
What about what I said about the violence aspect? There is a such thing as a culture for violence. There's a such thing as a place to where there's going to be more violence than other places.
Okay.
So and we know this just off the top of our head. Memphis, you say Memphis, mother, like, oh, whoa, brother, you know somebody over there? Now, of course, I think so. I'll give to Shad's point, to Shad's credence, right? Of course, it's not the entire city, because cities are big, just like here in Jacksonville, right? Certain side of town, you go pretty much be good no matter where you go. But other side of town, hey, what you doing over there? What you expect gonna happen? So I think it's kind of loose when you say it that way. But at the same time, I think we understand that within cities, you have even the worst of cities, there are good parts and bad parts.
So, Mr. Fantastic, when you speak on like Atlanta, would it behoove you to say neighborhoods?
As far as
violent,
yeah.
Like, do we need to know where, or is it how prominent does the violence need to be to call a city violent? Like Chicago. Is Chicago violent, or is the South Side violent? Or does it matter? Are we saying where black people live is violent? Is that the thing?
Well, when your whatever part of it has an average of more deaths and gun violence or violent crime against people that exceed the normal level nationally or statewide, I think that's fair to say. You're not going to be specific. You're just going to talk about the city. Because I don't know who knows where the South Side of fucking Chicago is. You just know Chicago, right? And we known about Chicago. Chicago, that's another thing. The historical context. GDs and vice lords. That's the home of a fucking origin of a gang. Yeah. So can we have the honest conversation? Can we not? And we know most gangs are affiliated with criminal activity and violence. What's wrong with saying that? That's what, everything I say. Again, people, what I mean. That's why I get lost. It's just like, can we? This is the problem at the crossroads we always come to. Oh, you talking shit about the city? You talking about this? Well, I mean, am I talking shit about the city, or am I telling the truth and giving the context that is known amongst black people as a whole? Bro, I've been to Chicago all for a layover, HAMP, to where the plane got stuck there over bad weather. So the most time I ever spent in Chicago might have been 12 hours. I went and got me a fucking deep dish pizza. Shit was all right. You know what I'm saying? And hopped on the plane next day and went home. But at the same time, I've been to fucking New York twice. I walked down streets in Brooklyn. I walked down streets in Queens. I ain't feel no type of way. I'm from Macon, Georgia. I ain't the hardest nigga in the world. You know what I'm saying? So this is my thing as to where I know what I see when I see it. You know what I'm saying? We was just in Houston, There was parts where I drove down where it was nothing but motherfucking old box Chevys and whatever the fuck, without the rims and the paint. Yeah. I didn't feel no type of way. I don't feel threatened. I'm not afraid, but because again, I come from that. I'm used to that. The motherfucking the J's hanging outside the Dollar General asking for $1. We used to that shit, bro. So why can't I talk about it if that's the reality of it? Why is it me talking down, or why is it me, trying to do something nefarious when I'm just telling the truth? That's what I don't understand.
You keep using that word, the truth. So does Atlanta have a culture of civil rights, progression, high academic achievement too?
But they did. What's the last civil rights thing that's been done since the 80s in Atlanta?
So you think you think all those people who created those things, it just perished and there's no more of those sentiments still in the city?
very few and far between, Shad. But again, I don't
So
live.
this
Shad.
is what
Now-
this
now,
this this is what I mean
this-
by like, this is why I say it's like and I remember a long time ago I called you an agent of chaos, and I feel like that was too strong. But now I'm kind of like, maybe it wasn't too strong, because again, you're not even in the city. Like, you don't what's the longest amount of time you spend in Atlanta in the last 5 years? What's the longest amount of time?
What, 4 days?
So that's the point I'm making. I'm here. The sentiments are still here. What's his name? Andre Young is still active in the city.
Shad.
Am I saying the right person? Cheeky?
Shad. No, well, no, I'm not refuting that. So, Shad,
So let me finish this. So what I'm saying, when
All right,
you
my
say
bad,
things like Atlanta has a culture of violence, you leave it at that. Yes, that's a component of the city, but that's why I say it's dangerous, because they also have still civil rights sentiments. Morehouse and Spelman are still two of the best colleges, and you see I didn't say black for a reason. Best colleges in the country. I graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine, the leading black public health graduate program in the country. These things still exist in Atlanta, Ms. Fantastic. That's why it's important for me, at least, to refute what you're saying on TV, that Atlanta has a culture of violence. It's not about the truth. The truth. I don't know how you got to that's the truth. I don't know how you get to that point.
Okay, so hold on. I'm trying to look at it right now. I'm see if it gives me. I'm looking at the thing for.
And so, while he's looking that up, the interesting thing about the show is, one thing that we were looking at is what is propagandized, what's pushed, by the media, the culture, in terms of what they feed us, what they don't, what we buy into. That's why I put Benjamin Crump on the flyer, right? Because I'm just looking at whatever he connects himself to seems to lead, right? And I'm asking, is he ignoring or focusing on the wrong shit?
Yes, clearly. He's only focusing on shit that has anything to do with white people. And again, this is what keeps the whole racial thing going. If it's, again, this is a multi-generational family being wiped out. How is this not a big major issue for us to motherfucking deal with and be like, hey, what's going on here? Not as for him to fix it, but at least to get some type of grassroots organization going in that community. Hands down, guns down, gloves up, or something. Something. But everybody only care, again, this proves my point every time. Anytime it's a white man or the police or anybody involved outside of niggas care. We arguing right now because we just said, the grandma, 74-year-old granny, and then 5 people in the same family, two more than him, they said, were females. So these, whatever the hell they got going on, this is a targeted hit by non-organized motherfuckers. A 15 and 16-year-old nigga. These ain't we got a black mafia now.
That shit. So let me think through Shad. Sorry, go ahead, Shad.
No, I'll wait because
No, go ahead.
You can start now. So
talk your shit. Hold on, let me do this first.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, so when I saw the title, so I said I wanted to make sure I prepare, right? So shout out to one of the greatest minds to ever walk this earth, W.E. Du Bois, right? In his 1903 book, and give me the hands. I'm gonna try to be succinct. Give me the hands. I'm too slow.
Okay.
In the souls of black folks, he talked about this concept of double consciousness. So double consciousness is being able to see yourself as an African at that time, but also see yourself as an American. And one of his biggest concern was, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna read a passage from it real quick, quick.
Sir. Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a peculiar sensation, the double consciousness, the sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, or measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in amused contempt and pity. One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, whose dogged strength alone keeps us from being torn asunder. The reason why I introduced this double consciousness that W. Du Bois promoted, but also was fearful about, because he said what he hopes is that as black people we can maintain this war, these two ideals. But what he was afraid of is that we'll merge them into this better identity. Here's how we get to what we're talking about now, right? Where the Ben Crump, because we're gonna get on Ben Crump in a second, right? We're talking about this lack of awareness, right? That now as black people, if I'm not aware of every crime that happens in America, it's not that I don't care. Here's the scary part about what actually is being said by Miss Fantastic and others who think like him. It's not only that I'm not aware, it speaks to my moral deficiency. So as a black person, if I'm not aware of if I don't scream and yell about everything that happens in America, it's not that I'm not aware. It shows my contradiction. It shows my lack of moral character that I'm not aware of it. To talk about Ben Crump real quick, Ben Crump is successful at what he does. He's a lawyer. He's successfully getting in front of cases, particularly cases that involve race, and winning huge civil suits for his clients. Look it up. He is actually very successful. He does. This happens in America all the time, whether you like it or not, because I had similar sentiments. I was like, why is he always the one showing up? Then I started doing my due diligence. Because he gets things done. He wins. He's a lawyer. That's why he gets in front of all these cases. It might bother us to see it, but in his craft, he's not the only one. Think about people like Gloria Allred. When they deal with the sexual cases in women, she's always in the front of it. Why? Because she's successful at what she does. So for me, it's not as much of a concern. Again, because when I talk about when he steps in front and what W. Du Bois talks about, now we concerned how people are going to look at us because every time something happens, it's Ben Crump at the front. We're concerned how America's going to look at us because we don't have a catalog of heinous crimes that happen in America, and if we don't call out every one of them, that means black people don't care. That's a horrible place to put black people in, and I'm gonna land there.
Yeah, and my counter to that would be is no, that's not the case, because if you can every single time there's an interracial issue, it's get covered, it gets national media things, and that's who Ben Crump runs to, and he only covers those cases where non-black people are involved. Why are he not doing those cases when it's also only black people involved? So that's the easiest counterpoint ever. Why only your civil rights cases or your only cases that you take and you're known for is when it's something involved with non-black people? Again, as Hamp said, RIP to the young man that lost his life in Mississippi. That's one man, bro. That's one black person. But because there's white folks involved, niggas is investigating and figuring shit out and everybody fucking CSI and detectives and everything. We just told y'all, bro, 5 different family members, 7 shot, 5 killed at 3 different locations. This is the case of cases where everybody need to be like, well, I know they caught the boys. How?
Don't make that small. Don't make that small. I knew you was gonna do that. Don't make that small. That's a very important part of the conversation.
Well, Shad, what do we mean make it small? How difficult is it to not catch a nigga that just killed 5 people?
Right, but that would be the point as to why Nolan Wells is being highlighted.
Good morning,
all of these,
Cheeky.
Good morning. Good. My apologies.
He excited, him. You can't help me excited. Man.
It's not that.
Just get us going.
Highlighting it within he's doing it within his own speech. The part is, I'm saying you did it within your own speech, which is why it's crazy, is because those boys got caught.
Okay.
Those boys, that means the justice system worked as is. The issue that people have, or the reason why Ben Crump exists, is because when they don't look like us, it seems like it's a harder time finding some level of equal justice, right? So, for example, Nolan Wells' situation is very highlighted because these boys have connections to the judicial system. One of their parents is a judge. Now, you tell me what hood nigga or what hood criminal, or whatever you want to call these black people who are criminals, what connections do they have to power? And what do they use to utilize that they don't just get caught?
Yeah, no, that's inconsequential, Cheeky.
That's not inconsequential. That's very consequential.
No. Because that for this case. So now give me all the other Ben Crump cases to where a judge was involved, to where the parents was a judge. Give it to me.
Okay, the parents don't have to be a judge, but what about a connection to the police?
So hold on, like you just said, don't make it small. So this right here is something that's extremely unique. For one, we know judges in themselves.
What about that kid? What about there's another? See, all of those this is why doing that video matters. The Noah Wells case What's that white girl that punched the kid and he got jumped by those white kids?
I
The
can't
white,
remember.
you know what I'm talking about. It's Lenore County, the Lenore County case where the white girl invites her ex-boyfriend, punches him. All three, four of them boys jump him, put him in chokehold, take him out, put him in chokehold. Guess what her connection is?
What?
Related to law enforcement. There's another case. That situation with the black woman that died with being the only black female amongst the white group, and that happened in Georgia. Connection. Her boyfriend was part of the police department. All of these people in cases where it seems like you have to fight for justice. What happened with the kid Cyrus? Didn't steal a damn thing. What happened to that Asian kid or Asian guy? What happened?
5 black people found him not guilty. 5 black people found him not guilty.
But the point is, the majority of the people that was in there, they didn't find. We have to do additional work.
Well, no. What do you mean additional on anything? No. Let's go back to that. So refute what I'm saying. A jury that consisted of 12 people, and if you did the research, you know that city or that county or whatever it was majority black. It had 5 black jurors on there, and 5 black jurors said that he was not guilty. So, what are we saying about the justice system in that case?
Okay, now
they're all coons.
In that case, I would still say there's a problem. But the only reason why I got national attention is because somebody had to bring it up.
Why is it a problem, though?
What do you mean, why is it a problem?
So you're saying that the 5 black people that found the Asian man not guilty for shooting the boy are problematic?
Yeah, I would say that's problematic, but my point is this. The reason why these things have to be brought or even amplified by somebody like a Ben Crump is because you're trying to limit or you're trying to reduce situations like that where the person is more likely to get off scot-free if there is no attention to it. Or what about Ahmaud Arbery? Like the situation with that. There are reasons why.
Yeah, but like you said though, hold on, and that would be a counter to your point because those dudes were found guilty and given life.
But why? The only reason they were found guilty, or the only reason why it got brought back up, was due to the national attention that it got.
No,
they were going to sweep that under the rug. That was already. No, that had been a case. That case had happened almost a year until they had to bring it back up because it got notified publicly.
No, it didn't. It didn't take a year. Chica actually followed that whole case. It didn't take that long.
Okay, so how did it get brought back up? Because it got
brought back up because they within, I want to say, a few months they end up interviewing the guy, and the guy came forward with either the cell phone footage or whatever the dude that actually cooperated with him.
And that was
the third
dude
that helped follow him.
How many months up until it was a certain amount of months, close to a year, until that got brought back up again? And had it not been brought back up,
I can't argue that with you. Because I don't remember, I'll have to go back and try and research it myself and covering it. But I'll just give you that for now. But it definitely wasn't that long, bro.
If there is no notoriety or any national attention brought to it, it will be swept under the rug. It will be moved on. But you know what won't be? July 4th, 20 people shot at somewhere in Chicago. You know what's always going to bring attention? They're going to always bring attention to that. We already know if it has anything to do with black violence or black. The media in the United States is going to bring attention to that. But you know what they're not going to bring attention to? Things is like, wait a minute. Hey, what about this case? They're always looking for an imperfect victim to go, well, why would he do this? Noah Wells was a very similar to, quote unquote, similar to an Austin Metcalf football player. Getting ready to go to a college. Good grades, known as a good student, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I'm not refuting any of those things. My thing is,
so that's why Ben Crump matters, because if there is no attention brought to these cases where these people are in a smaller town, whatever the case, and there is no amplification, then yeah, there's gonna be swept under the rug and moved on.